Guys, I want to get loud all of a sudden. I'm
Do it.
sorry. I'm going to.
I knew it was coming.
I'm sorry, guys.
Can't
but I
hold 'em
need
back.
to do that.
It is. You feel like Poseidon chucking that bugger down in the water.
Sucking that bugger. Did you butt out that deer?
I did not butt out that deer, but the next one I get, it's getting its butt out.
Is that little Stevie out here in the back?
Drobop. Bow drop, I'm sorry. Drobop. Hello. Stay tuned. I'll be back after my seizure.
Every little chipmunk that was running around, everything's dead quiet, and I went like that. Just happened.
I saw what is in essence a nature-gasm.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Sonic Campfire. We have quite the guest for you guys on tonight. But before we get started, who do I have with me?
I'm Steve.
I'm Will.
Hey, it's Bucky.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
I'm Catfish.
And I'm Kyle. Guys, we have a pretty dynamic guest on the line tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Kind of well-versed in several things that draw people to the outdoors.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Do tell. Don't hold out.
Get on it.
So on the line tonight, we have a pitcher with the Baltimore Orioles, Andrew Faulkner. How's it going, Andrew?
Oh, it's going pretty good. How are you guys?
Good.
Awesome.
Good, man.
Fantastic. Been waiting all day to tell you about the home run I hit in softball back in church league.
That's a good opener.
The one home run I ever hit. Not to mention it was 8 feet out the foul line to the left. Hey, how you doing, bud?
Doing good. Doing real good.
So you're just kind of wrapping up your season and starting the season as far as we're concerned.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're rolling into archery deer.
What was that one?
I love it.
Yeah, what happened there, Will?
That was some groundbreaking stuff.
That was good. I loved it because he was in the back of his mind thinking that one time when we were shooting groundhogs under the porch. I know it. Sneaking out from the shed. He was
Groundhog season, right?
Groundhog archery season.
It's in, bud.
Now, what are you doing to prep for archery season, Andrew?
Well, actually, I'm in South Carolina right now since my deer season's over, and our season actually starts August 15th.
What?
So, yeah, I think it is the earliest deer season, so it's great. I'm never actually home for the opener, but I can't complain about that. But it is it's a lot of people get to come to South Carolina and shoot bucks and velvet and all of that. But with me getting home a little bit later, I've been just kind of doing the normal stuff, putting in food plots and getting stands ready and clearing stuff up and running a tractor all day.
I'm not a baseball professional, but how do you find time
He is.
with the 6,492 games that you have to play or whatever, travel around? Like, how do you have the energy to go hang stands and do food plots and check trail cameras? That was a question that was on Ryan's tongue. I stole it right from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, lucky enough is as soon as the season is over, and this past year I was in the big leagues for parts of 3 years with Texas in the past. This year I did not get called up to big leagues, so I was in the AAA minor league season this year. So we did end a little bit earlier than the big league team, but really, when as soon as the baseball season ends, we have pretty much about 5 months off. Lucky enough for me, it is all deer season.
Nice.
Wow.
But so we play. I think we play 162 games in like 172 days. So that is pretty strenuous, but
It's grueling.
the off season is exactly that for me. I am 100% off. I get to have about a month and a half to where I don't have to lift, I don't have to train, I don't have to do anything. So that gives me time to kind of hang stands and and take a lot of naps during the hot part of the day and try to get everything done early in the morning or later on in the afternoon.
Heck yeah.
Except for having to go to work. I do that 12 months out of the year.
I was going to say, I got 11. Sounds like 11 months out of the year for me, too.
I don't have to lift.
Hey, I practically take a nap at work every once.
Easy, Buck. Don't tell them your
Jeez.
secrets.
Speaking of work this morning, like I was talking to Amy. There's a girl at work named Amy that's like a big Orioles fan. And I was telling her what was going on tonight. She's like, she never really like doesn't talk, but she just stuttered and stopped and looked at me. And she's like, "Who? What? There's no way he's on your podcast." I'm like, yeah, we're talking to him tonight. I never actually seen her like, can I have a beer with him? Can you get me tickets to sit with him? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, he's on my podcast. Have your own podcast.
Yeah. Do your own work, honey.
Yeah, she goes down to Baltimore quite a bit. She's a giant fan,
cool.
and she was excited to hear about the podcast.
What's her name, Amy?
Hypothetically, let's say her name's Amy.
Amy. Catfish ain't your bird dog.
Get her, Bucky.
Oh, because the Oriole's a bird. Okay. I see what you did there.
I like that.
That's good.
Double entendre.
Sorry. Anyway.
Can I jump back and ask a question?
Oh yeah, bud.
Keep her rolling. Keep her rolling.
Go for it.
You brought up a spark to me earlier. So, have you had the opportunity to hunt bucks and velvet living down there? I know you said that you get off too late, but I didn't know in your lifetime if you had that opportunity.
I wish I have. I have everybody I hunt with does, but normally when I'm home come beginning of September, they're already out of velvet. I'll have a few pictures now of deer in velvet still, but it's so hot here right now, you really don't see them right now unless you kind of just slip up and you get a cold front out of nowhere, or you get some weather coming in. Right now it's actually really hard hunting here because it's so hot, and it's pretty usual for people to get in the stand at 6 o'clock and sit till 7:30 when it's dark, and you might see them the last 3 minutes of daylight.
Right. Well, you got 7 new best friends that don't mind babysitting your stand until you get off work. Like them first couple weeks. I know a few guys that like to travel.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
All anybody ever, I always tell people all the time, especially guys that really like the bow hunt, is I invite a lot of people to come to South Carolina and hunt. It's a lot different than hunting the Midwest and hunting states like that. But if I'm home and you want to come, you just let me know.
So you stop it.
I got
careful.
Trust me.
Be careful throwing that invitation out.
I got more land than I know what to do with, so I got plenty of stands for everybody.
Bless your heart. Yeah.
So we have the opposite problem up here. We have more guys than we do land to know what to do.
Right,
with.
exactly.
You're probably not
statewide.
doing this. Yeah. Sorry, Bucky.
That's all right.
You're probably not doing this during archery season. But one of the things I know about South Carolina, and honestly, I don't know if it is a regional thing or not, but do you do any hunting where you're running them with dogs?
I do not. I just don't. I don't care for dog hunting. It just
Swing and a
doesn't do it
miss
for
on
me.
that one, bud.
It's a strike one.
He's out there.
There's a
thing,
ton of people around me,
and
that
it's
do,
huge in
and,
South Carolina.
Yeah, it's really big in South Carolina.
It's part of their
There's
back
heritage there.
culture and culture. It's like Virginia. Virginia's like that as well.
Yeah. You got to get out of there before the dogs come through.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. Like I have friends that hunt Virginia that hunt archery season, muzzleloader. Like there's an overlap or whatever, and dog season comes in. They don't mind some of the dog hunters on other properties because they do chase big bucks around onto the property they're hunting archery. They just don't like it when the dogs run past their stand. That's all.
It's just like a drive in Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Yeah.
That actually, so our state is split up into different zones, and like for me, I have part of the land going towards the low country and like Bamberg, South Carolina. I have like roughly 2,000 acres that I hunt there. And in that particular zone, there is no archery season.
Wait, back up.
It's August 15th. It's rifle season.
Andrew, did you say you have 2,000 acres?
Yeah, me. So me and pretty much my best friend. He's quite a bit older than me, but
I like this guy.
Sounds
he's
like a
the
real
guy
straight
that kind of
shooter.
introduced me to hunting.
Yeah.
And so
Let's
we have
hypothetically call him
roughly
Spencer.
we have roughly 2,000 acres that we hunt down the low country, and then in a different game zone going towards the upstate in Edgefield, South Carolina. They have archery season, and it doesn't come in until September 15th. It's only 15 days till October 1st.
Oh, boy.
And but I have a good bit of land there too.
Can you hunt with? Is it shotgun only, or can you hunt with long rifle or ARs? Tell me about South Carolina's rifle season. I'm sorry, and then
Their rifle season is fair game. I mean, legitimately,
sky's the limit.
Yeah, and in that particular zone. Now, in the upstate, where I have land, it's archery for 15 days, going September to October, and then October to October 15th is primitive weapons. So your muzzle loader, all that, and then from October 15th to New Year's is rifle season.
Gotcha.
But then, and the low season, because the population of deer is just way out of control. I mean, we have a ton of deer. It's legitimately August 15th is deer season. Use whatever you want. Knock them down.
Grenade launchers, slingshots,
Plastic bags.
yeah. If you're up for
It
it.
is.
Lord,
Plastic bag.
barbaric.
Booby traps.
No, but it's like
what you're into.
I've
I'm
been
just
to
saying.
the Carolinas in August. It's hot.
It's so
Yeah.
hot.
Oh yeah, it's it was about 95 today, so it's
Oh, Lord.
it's warm.
Do you hunt like in just that real like that netting leafy wear with nothing under it, or is it like shorts and
Loincloth.
t-shirt?
Scent control is difficult.
That's what I would imagine.
So I will say the hard part about South Carolina is because it is so hot and there's so much pressure because of rifles, that because the rifle season is all season, it is a very, very hard state to bow hunt. Like your scent control is absolutely everything. I mean, especially when you come December, when they've already been shot at with rifles for 2 months. If you shut your car door too hard, you're done.
Oh wow.
I mean, you're done. So you really have to pay attention to what you're doing. So that's why a lot of the times when it's this hot, I try not to hunt as much, and I try to just get everything ready and perfect, and then try to wait for it to cool down a little bit so I'm not really sweating trying to get into the stand and ruining, some good sets.
All those gun hunters push all the deer into your sanctuary.
That they do. And speaking of dog hunting, all around me is people that dog hunt. So it's not uncommon to just see, especially on the weekends, you can hear the dogs running through the woods. And, a lot of the times they'll run deer straight to me, which sometimes it's awesome and I'll shoot a good buck. And sometimes it's frustrating because the dog will be up under the stand. But that's also where I'm lucky enough I'm kind of off during the week when other people are working. So
Right.
I don't have to worry about it so much.
That's
So-
nice.
Yeah, this is like, you don't have to use this as like a brag session, but like, what is a typical kind of sit? Is it 2-3 deer, or is it like 30 deer?
It 100% depends on the weather. If it's early season and you're sitting a soybean field, you can see 20, 30, 40 deer in a field. If it's, if one thing goes wrong though, you can spook them for, weeks.
Gotcha.
So I kind of get lucky because I do have that amount of land, and it's only two of us, that where instead of like a lot of people target, like we got one buck, we're going after this one buck. Well, our population is so high. So we have, especially in the low country, we have the highest in the state. We have 25 deer per square mile.
No, you
So we
don't.
have
Wow.
Lord.
yeah.
Really?
So we have so many deer that it's almost out of control. So
It's a good thing you have the 7 bus coming.
yeah,
We're
go
going to help
ahead.
you with that.
Yeah, because Pennsylvania has
I mean,
5,500 hunters per square mile.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
There's yeah, it's a hard state, but I mean, so instead of hunting one buck, granted it kills us because we don't have. You're not going to come to South Carolina and shoot 150-inch deer. It's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come to South Carolina, if you shoot 120-inch deer or 130-inch deer, you've really done something. That's a big deer here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's very common for us to have like 3 or 4 8-pointers kind of in one area. So instead of targeting one deer, you can get in one area and you could target 3 or 4 deer. And we also get a lot of tags. So I get 3 tags, and then I can buy 2 more tags. So I get 5 buck tags. And then on top of that, I get 5 doe tags. And then because I only archery hunt, I can use every Saturday starting in October is a doe days, so you can shoot a doe. But if you archery hunt, you can use those tags any day during the year. So I have like 20 doe tags.
So what you're saying is I've been hunting the wrong state my entire
Yeah,
life.
we're
Sounds
moving to
like
South Carolina.
Yeah. That's
Putting
where
our
you go
tree
to.
stands and cypress trees.
That's where you go
Yeah.
to pack the freezer, guys.
So total that all up. If you were to use all your tags, how many deer would that be?
Probably. Well, on top of that, we also get management tags for that specific area that we hunt because the population's so high. So just me, I could shoot 25 deer max out. And then if I include the management tags for does, probably close to 40.
Just do the math on
buckets.
this, right? That's 24 arrows and 24 broadheads per year.
Yeah,
That's
so,
expensive.
I mean, yeah, but there's no way. I mean, if for me, realistically, if I shoot two bucks in a year, and I normally shoot maybe 6 or 7 does, then that's like, I wouldn't say average, but that's a good year.
Yeah, but that's a pretty
great year.
That's a pretty amazing deep freezer full of good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to? Are you in direct competition with gators?
Yeah, we have alligators all the time.
Oh man, we were down there and fished Sandy Cooper with Cat.
Oh yeah.
That was the first time I ever fished in gator infested water.
All right, I'm out. Sorry. I was going to go down, but I'm out now.
Wow.
Gators can't climb trees.
Oh no, they really they don't bother you that much.
That much. It's just that one
He
time.
said that much.
It's you just if you're
No, I can only count to 4.
If you're tracking a deer and it goes down in a slough, it's not the most comfortable situation. I'll put it that way. But it's not that bad.
Yeah,
as long as you make a lot of noise, for the most part, they're not going to bother you.
I mean, in Pennsylvania, I have already waded waist deep into water to recover a deer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it down there. I don't think I could bring myself to do it.
Yeah, he got nipped by a bluegill.
Well, most of the time we'll keep a fishing pole with a treble hook and just catch them, drag them to us.
Snag the deer.
So not
See, they're
only can
smarter
you
down
hunt
there.
deer in
Deer
South
fishing.
Carolina,
You
you
can
can
fish 'em.
fish for them
Deer
too.
fishing.
Finally. Vindication. I'll have to tell you about my bear fishing story sometime.
No, I could get behind that. You guys.
Yeah, we'll lay them down and you
lay
fish
it-
them out.
I'll fish them out.
So Andrew, were you are you originally from South Carolina or did you relocate there?
No, I was born and raised South Carolina.
Okay.
Did your area get hit pretty hard by that hurricane? It just blew through.
No, lucky enough, I think we got like 6 inches of rain in 2 days, and
Wow.
like a top of 30-mile-an-hour wind. We got really lucky.
Yeah.
But Charleston and those places, they got pretty tore up, which is only about 2 hours away from me.
That's crazy how much different the weather is. Only 2 hours different.
Andrew, you mentioned this buddy that you own the land with and how he got you into hunting. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? we always like to
Yeah,
hear how guys.
How
got
old
into-
were you?
Yeah,
What-
exactly.
My best friend growing up, he always loved to hunt and stuff, and he eventually moved off because his dad was in the military. But his uncle was the guy that we would go and hunt with all the time, and his uncle is David. And you know what? The first time I sat in a stand, I was borrowing a gun, and I had like a deer provisional hunting license, so you can kind of test it out for a year or something that we do here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the stand like 5 minutes. My buddy dropped me off, and I have no idea what I'm doing whatsoever. And I think I was in middle school, and dropped me off in the stand. I texted him like, "Hey, you forgot a bottle of water." So he comes back, throws up a bottle of water, puts the golf cart in reverse. It's beeping going out and everything. And the whole time, at this time, they were hunting at a hunt club, and everybody there is like, "Oh, it's your first time. Shoot the first thing that walks out. Shoot the first thing that walks out." I'm like, "Yeah,
That's
okay,
my buddy with
whatever."
the water bottle.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in the stand, not even 10 minutes. I'm trying to figure out how to work this gun. I've never even shot my friend's gun before. And I'm playing with the scope, and I look up, and there's a buck right in front of me at not even maybe 15 yards. And I'm like,
Jammies.
all right. I'm like, cool. I click the safety off, and I shoot him. And, of course, they text me right away like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "You guys told me to shoot the first thing that came out. I just shot it." They're like, "Oh, yeah." So they're thinking like, "Oh, he just shot a little yearling or something like that." Well, they come to get me like a couple hours later. I'm just sitting there, and they're like, "What'd you shoot?" I go, "I think it was like an 8 or 10 pointer, something like that." And they're like, "Oh, yeah. Sure it was."
Uh-huh.
So, we go to track it, and it's like I shoot it. It runs like 10 yards into the woods and dies. But it turns out it was a typical 10-pointer. It was like 125 inches, maybe 130.
Oh wow.
And it was my first buck, and it was like one of the biggest deer ever killed on their hunt club. And
That is perfect.
needless to say, I never got invited back. Instead, me and David just started leasing land instead. But
Wow.
yeah, that's how I started hunting. I used a rifle for I think 3 or 4 years, and then I got into professional baseball. And one of my friends that I was playing with was he was actually from South Carolina. His name's Kevin Posadas. He was like, "Hey, have you ever shot a bow?" Like, "No." Well, I started shooting a bow, and lucky enough, we can shoot at the field, and it's flat and all that. It's awesome.
I've seen pics.
And yeah, well, I started doing that, and then I shot my first deer with a bow, and I haven't picked up a rifle since. I don't even own a rifle anymore. I think I had 2 rifles and an AR, and I sold them all, and I don't do anything but bow hunt, and I do it every day now. Every day I'm home.
Nice. Do you hunt in Maryland at all since you're affiliated with the Orioles?
I do not. I did quite a bit of hunting in Texas when I was with Texas. I guess it's a kind of an easier state to hunt. More people do it, I would say.
Right.
There's less people from Pennsylvania hunting in Texas.
Yeah,
Than in
there you
Maryland.
go.
That's true.
But I have got a couple invites from some people. Eastern Shore, I want to say Eastern Shore Guide Service. They invited me up last year, and I told them that if it was available this year that I was going to do it. So I might take a trip there this year and hunt.
There's some really nice bucks on Eastern Shore.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah, he sent me some pictures of some quality deer, so I'm looking forward to it.
Good turkey hunting over there too.
well, you did talk a little bit about like the rack size. Like you shot that first one was 125 inch. And if you shoot 120, 130 inch, it's a monster down there.
Yes.
What's the body weight? What are we talking about on a mature deer down there?
Mature buck, you're looking at 160 to like a big. You don't see too many bucks over 3 years old here.
That was kind of what I was getting at. The body size on them is very comparable to a Pennsylvania deer. A lot of people think as soon as you get below Virginia, the body size shrinks all of a sudden. There's a I don't want to call it a subspecies, but there's whitetails in Florida that are smaller. in body size.
Yeah.
Texas are smaller.
But in South Carolina, the deer you're hunting,
an older
if they had an
population down
opportunity to get older, you'd be able to see 300 pounds on the hoof on one of those deer.
I don't know 300. I would say 230, 240. Yes.
Yeah.
The biggest body deer I've ever shot was 220.
That's a
good sized deer. I mean, yeah. So it's not like they're really small in comparison to the Pennsylvania deer.
I don't know, not at all. Not at all. I would think from what I've seen, I obviously haven't hunted there. I had some friends that hunt in Pennsylvania, but I would say it's a very similar body size. I believe your deer score better. You have a little bit more of a rack than we do. We have we don't have much mass to like any of the racks on our deer are very spindly most of the time.
Here's the thing.
I don't know what that is, but that's just kind of what it seems like.
The ability to be able to hunt though and not run into 2 or 3 other hunters and be able to see, even if they're does, what do you I mean, do you see a couple deer a night? Like we spend weeks sometimes seeing 1 or 2 deer on nights and nights and nights sitting in tree stands. So
actually, believe it or not, the same thing happens here. Even though we have so many deer, because it's so hot here a lot of the times, they move solely at night.
Right.
So, like, if the weather's good,
jerks,
I might see 100 deer in a week. And then the next week, it gets hot, and I won't see a single deer for a week.
Right.
So, it just, it's crazy, but that's kind of how it works here.
Stevie wouldn't make it hunting down there. They have water moccasins in South Carolina.
I'm out.
Oh, we have a ton of water moccasins and a ton of rattlesnakes.
Nope.
And they're water moccasins.
And they're riding gators.
Yeah,
just saying.
Water moccasins are aggressive. They are the ones that will chase you from your truck to your tree stand.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
For 400 yards. Yeah. And you better be able to run fast.
They will chase you. The worst thing is if you're in like a John boat or something and they try to get in the boat with you.
Yep.
And you will fall out of the boat trying to beat it with the paddle. It'll climb in the boat with you in a hard second, and you will. I mean, I've fell in so many times trying to beat them with a paddle, and
Stevie doesn't.
Only to get bitten by a gator.
Terrible.
Do you see where I'm going with this story?
Stevie doesn't believe me at all. And contrary to popular belief, they can shoot laser beams out of their eyes.
I'm not rolling the dice on that.
I don't know if I've seen that, but I might have heard about it. I don't know.
Right.
Water moccasins are jerks.
And
We don't have to worry about snakes that much in Pennsylvania. We run into an occasional black snake. So
I don't
here
like
where
them
we hunt.
either.
some timber rattlers.
Yeah. Those guys from Leatherwood.
Go ahead. Like, you spend the most time out of all of us in a tree.
That's not
Like, you're
true.
part of the tree.
That's not true.
Like, the tree starts to grow around Kyle. Because he lives in a part that he can hunt.
It leans
Squirrels hang out
to
in
the
my
way
tree stands
his-
with me.
Yes.
zippity doo does.
Andrew, in South Carolina, I know the rut kind of happens later for you guys down there. When's the typical rut?
How do you know that?
Well, no, actually,
He read a
it's weird
magazine.
because like if you go to Alabama, their rut is in like January.
Yeah.
That's stupid crazy.
Yeah.
I'm shopping for Christmas presents in January
Yeah, that's
because I'm late.
oh gosh. Here, because the population is so high, they'll actually, I could see deer rutting in 2 weeks.
Really?
I mean, middle of October, early October, that's very common. And then legitimately it'll shut down. And then 2 weeks later, it'll kick back up. And then it'll shut down. And then it'll kick back up.
Wow.
I can use a grunt call almost all year long.
Wow.
Because there's so many does and they'll come into heat and they get bred at different times.
It's like multiple
Yep.
menstrual
It just
cycles.
come in different cycles, and it's
Yes.
it can be really frustrating too, but it's weird. I mean, last year, for instance, I think I shot a buck with in December, like 26th. I grunted him in after I was in there the day before. He was running a doe. The next day, I grunted him in and shot him at 30 yards.
Wow.
And that is December, was it 26th? And I shot my first deer. I grunted him in on October 15th.
Jeez. Now, have you found that helps you or hurts you in regards to trying to hunt those deer?
A little bit of both. So it's not, because there's not that much competition to find those. It's not like it's a Midwest where like you can really grit on a grunt call and you can rattle and deer will literally run to you. It's like super, super light, very finicky kind of calling, and it's easy to kind of screw up. I've never actually in South Carolina had success rattling a deer in. I go to Illinois and hunt every year, and I can rattle one in almost every time.
You gotta really sound sexy.
Nah, it's like it's like Pennsylvania. Same way. I don't think I've ever rattled in a buck.
I've never rattled.
I've done a rattling sequence and a buck showed up 15, 20 minutes later, but I don't think it was because of the rattle.
No, it was because of you, bud.
Yeah, it's just me in general.
Yeah, I don't even bring rattling antlers
Me
with
neither.
me in the woods.
Yeah.
Now, take me through it. Here's a question I have. So in Pennsylvania, like the hunting pressure is pretty strong, especially on public land. White-tailed deer have, I want to say the word evolved into just, you know how they look around for predators, their ears move back and forth, they're testing the wind, but they have now learned to look up.
Yeah.
Like they look up. Like whether there's a tree stand or not, they're checking the trees out. Do you have that problem where you're hunting with a little bit less pressure, especially with like dogs running around, guys hunting on the ground with rifles, whatever? Do the deer look up in the trees?
I really do. I don't have that much of a problem, but I mainly hunt out of either lock-ons or I climb a lot also.
They're probably
But
looking for water
sure-
moccasins jumping out.
Yeah,
In the trees.
That's what it is.
But my way especially to get out of the scent zone, I would say, is no matter where my stand is, it is 25 foot or higher.
What? Oh, Lord.
So I am up there. I'm trying to get out of the wind, or if something smells me, that my wind is being carried long enough away that hopefully I can get close to a deer. But that's majority of the time. That's what I try to do is get 25 foot or higher.
It's quite the angle on the arrow coming down. That's some impressive shooting, actually.
So
you got to know what you're doing to be able to shoot 20, 25 feet up.
If
regardless.
you're hunting that high up, let me just ask a random question here. Are you killing more deer in the morning or the afternoon?
I kill most of my deer in the morning.
I actually worded the mouth morning right before you said it. And a lot of that, because you're that high, the wind is with the thermals as the ground heats
it's going up.
Boom, your scent's going up even higher, carries it off and away. And that's, it's
Look
working
at
for
the
you.
big brain on Brad.
I can't take it.
And the main thing is,
I loved it.
The main thing is like if I'm hunting a field, even if it's hot, if I'm hunting a field, or better yet, there's deer in the field when I pull up, I'm not hunting, the corner of that field. I'm going while they're in the field in the morning. I'm sneaking in closer to their bedding area and catching them going back to their bedding area. I know that they're already on the move. So I don't shoot very many deer in the afternoon because it's hard for me to see them in good daylight. And I do a lot of self-filming and stuff too. So I get the most deer in good daylight and good camera light in the morning rather than afternoon. So if I have something to do, I'm doing it in the afternoon. I'll take the afternoon off way before I take the morning off.
Yeah, and not like in Pennsylvania, stereotypically, there's a lot of good deer taken in the morning, but stereotypically, the last hour, the golden hour in Pennsylvania seems to be the best in archery season, at least where we hunt in our area. Like the afternoon hunt seems to be better for us.
I wonder what the difference is really. Like the difference between.
Well, here's the thing. I think we put our stands a lot 10, 15 yards inside the wood line where you can still get a shot to the field. A lot of our deer walk the field edges, but we try to I mean, I'm not saying we. Let me say me. I try to put my stands in staging areas where they come 10, 15 yards in the woods, and they'll stand there a half an hour before dark and wait closer to dark to come out in the field. But I get between the bedding area and the food plot, which for us is mostly corn in my area, and I find the best trails, and then I'll go back 10 yards into the woods where I got some good shooting lanes. I'll throw sand up, and the deer don't mind moving before dark. They don't mind moving like early, but they don't come out into the field.
Right. They won't expose themselves
until low light.
Into the vulnerable area. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty similar. Yeah.
But it's not as hot where we live either. So there's no reason for them not to get up. It's not 100 degrees at midnight.
Yeah. I prefer.
Unless you hunt September.
Yeah. It's hot right now.
I prefer an afternoon sit. I like hunting better. I generally see more deer. But if I go back through my history, I've killed more deer in the morning.
Have you?
Yep.
And you think that's because of the scent? Maybe.
I definitely think because of the way I set up and like he was saying, if you get close to a bedding area, you have a better chance catching them coming back to bed than leaving the beds in the evening.
I totally buy it. I get it.
Now, you guys cannot. I think they call it bait deer. I don't like that word. It bothers me. But you guys can't put corn out or anything like that for deer, can you?
You can't even hunt next to a neighboring property that has a known like a feeder or a salt block. If it's within like couple hundred yards of your stand and they find it,
I forget what it is.
You can actually be fined for it, whether you knew it was there or not.
Oh wow!
Unless you're in special regulations.
Yeah, unless you're down where Kyle's at.
And
now.
then you can like dump syrup out all over your tree stand with pancakes and French toast and everything else.
They change it every year depending on the results that they had. So it used to be like you'd bait open, and then it used to be you had to have a permit, and then they changed it back again that you didn't need a permit this year, but you could only use certain types of bait. I forget what this.
But it's different where Kyle lives in a special part of Pennsylvania where, like, if you
a
stop
suburban area,
if you stop at the park and ride to get in with everybody, the deer just jump in and ride with you.
We call it South Carolina, Pennsylvania.
Yes, it's SCPA. Yep, I love it.
I may or may not have shot deer in people's actual backyards.
Yeah, it's pretty close quarters.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So we can bait deer. So, I mean that it helps you out to see does. Very, very rarely are you gonna sit near a corn pile and a good buck is gonna walk straight up and eat corn. It's just not gonna happen.
Yep.
Does will do that all day long. So like what we do is, we put corn out, at a lot of our stands, obviously not all of them, but a lot of them.
You can put them out
just to kind of keep the does in one area. And then come the rut, or when we think they're rutting, if you would just to keep does in that area so that we can be close to them.
Yep.
Just keep ourselves closer to the does. But we do, I'm not going to lie, I do whack and stack some does over corn all the time.
And maybe we shouldn't use that B word, right? That's a buzzword.
Yeah,
it triggers a lot of people. I like to think of it as
attracting.
It's a condensed, harvested food plot.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we also
you just blew my mind.
We plan a lot too, and so like for instance, my girlfriend's dad is from Arizona. So he's used to all spot and stalk, and he is a fairly good hunter. And for a couple of years, he wanted to go hunting, but he's like, I can't sit over a corn pile. That's too easy. And I'm like, well, let me explain this to you. Like, you don't think how I think. So in your words, that you can spot a bedded down deer from a mile away with a pair of binos, you can sneak up on it while it's sleeping and shoot it in its bed. But you think it's wrong to shoot a doe while it's eating corn.
It depends on if you're still in your jammies or not. Like,
that
20 feet out your back door on a platform.
I finally got him to do it, and he kind of realized that the deer are a little bit smarter than he was expecting. It's not. The buck's going to come around you and try to get your wind and stuff like that. And it was a lot different than he thought. And now he's like, okay, I just want to shoot a buck. I just want to shoot a buck.
It's just
okay.
And that's one thing, but there's also the fact that the terrain is completely different. He could see that deer with a pair of glasses 2 miles off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
You can't see a deer in those, like in that swampland in South Carolina that you're describing. You can't see a deer with binoculars 20 yards away.
Yeah. Don't think that deer don't know something's up to. That pow don't look natural. They're spooked.
Well, the way I lay it out,
I'm walking around like North Korea, and there's a pow of cheesesteaks on the ground. I'm gonna know something's up.
They're trying to.
Don't think I ain't gonna stop and eat them, but I'm gonna be looking around while I do it.
Yeah. If I put a feeder out, like if I put corn in a pile, I can get deer to come to it in a day or two. They'll find it and come to it in a completely new spot. If I try to put a feeder up that makes noise, or even like I tried a couple of the feeders that look like stumps, and they don't make any noise. You just fill them up, they eat it, and it kind of just pours gravity feeder.
Yeah, we saw that at ATA.
Yeah,
wouldn't come close to it. Wouldn't sniff it. I left them out for a year. Wouldn't come close to it. I can't get them. But we actually started getting hogs. So
I hate hogs.
The feeders for hogs are a totally different story. A lot of the time they'll come to the feeders like clockwork. So we have a couple of feeders set up for hogs because last year I think we would get them like once a week. And they would come like once a week and just eat all the corn and whatever. But it is what it is, or once every 2 weeks. So there wasn't that many of them. This year, I put corn out 2 days ago. I went and checked the camera. We had 25 hogs on one camera.
Wow. I totally just went blank, and you're going to have to repeat. All I heard was catfish. I have hogs. You can come hunt hogs on my property.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like, I have too many of them. And they'd come to the bait pals and eat all my corn.
Catfish. When can you get here?
And I went totally blank and went like archery hunting hogs in my head. But I apologize.
As soon as deer season is over in January, you can come and hunt hogs all you want.
Now, do you hunt hogs with archery too, or do you actually get the rifle out?
No, I hunt everything with archery. Nice. I'll let a couple friends come with me, and they have like infrared, and they'll shoot them at with ARs or whatever. But for the most part, I'll either attach a light to the feeder or I'll attach a light to my bow, and I'll either just sit on the ground, on a stool or something, or I'll just sit in a stand and shoot. I love to shoot hogs at night, and I hate that they're hurting my deer hunting a little bit, but it's fun because my deer season ends in January, and I still have like a month and a half at home to where I have baseball to do, but baseball only takes up half the day, and I want to shoot something.
And I love bacon.
Now
I
have hogs.
They're the snakeheads of South Carolina.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Invasive, crazy. So let me ask you a question for me too. Like, if you were sitting in your blind, if you're sitting in your tree stand, it's archery season, it's over a bait pouch, it's not over, but regardless, you have like your favorite arrow and your favorite broadhead on, and it's the day, and like an invasive species like that comes in, or a coyote, or a raccoon.
If a coyote comes
if a raccoon's eating your corn, are you blowing that arrow? Are you ruining that arrow?
No, I'm not at a raccoon, but I will tell you, if a coyote comes, it automatically turns into a coyote hunt.
Yes, no,
I'm doing anything I can.
Mm-hmm.
But I love my actually one of my best friends is Dale Perry, who he actually invented the Gravedigger broadhead.
Familiar.
So that is the only broadhead I shoot. I love it. I've had way too much success with it. It flies great at distance. It flies great at 100 yards. So that's really the only broadhead I use. used blood sport arrows last year, micro diameter blood sport arrows.
Mm-hmm.
I liked them. They're really tough. This year, the guy from Victory asked me if I would shoot some Victory arrows, so I've switched over to their micro diameter arrow, and I haven't got to lay anything out with it yet, but they fly great. They fly great at distance. I don't know how they penetrate, but they're killing my foam, so they look like they're going to do good.
No, Victory's a good arrow. They're good.
Mm-hmm. Now, Andrew, kind of a silly question. How are you not broke running all these feeders? Because I feel like I spend hundreds of dollars just, getting some corn and
I'm
everything
not
else
saying he has
for
a better
my
job
trail
than you,
cameras
but it's a
and
possibility.
in in the summer. Like how much do you think you spend on feed for the deer?
So I normally spend. Oh man, I don't need my girlfriend to hear this.
We can edit it out.
I doubt she's listening to bow hunting anyway, so it's okay. But I would say I probably spend about $80 a week on corn.
Wow.
So I typically if I hunt a stand or now granted there's a lot of places I hunt that we don't have corn.
That's in case she was listening. It's actually like 140.
It's got to be more. Yeah.
But no, I mean there's a lot of we hunt a lot of food plots and stuff. Also, we hunt a lot of creek bottoms. We hunt all of that natural.
Sure.
There's a lot of persimmons around here. That's what they're on right now. They're actually not even eating corn right now. Really, they're eating straight persimmons, and then they go from persimmons to acorns, and then from that they'll eat greens and your corn that you put out.
Yes.
So right now, I'm putting corn out, but I'm only spending maybe $30 a week because I'm getting.
Okay.
I'll get cob corn because it lasts longer.
Yep.
But and 80-pound sacks, and I'll only put about 40 pounds at each kind of set that I have. But I would say I only have corn at a fourth of the stands.
Okay.
So nothing that bad.
Yeah.
It's still a lot, don't get me wrong, but it could be worse.
I'm gonna change gears just a little bit, but do you get bear?
There's huge bears down there. I was going to ask him the same
I mean,
thing.
is it I'll round it out? Are you in one of those massive bear areas?
No, I'm not. We have. I'll have one
because the gators and the moccasins ate them.
Well, we don't have them down the low country. We only have them going towards Georgia and the upstate, kind of, in my property in Edgefield. Or I have a little bit of property right around the house too. So when I start doing baseball stuff, I don't have as much time. So I have some honey holes close by. But I'll see one. I've never seen one hunting. I will say that, but I'll catch them on camera maybe once or twice a year.
Right.
But I know you guys. I have a friend that I played with from PA, and I think he runs dogs, and him and his buddy shot one that was 300 or 400 pounds or something, which I don't know anything about bears. But I saw the picture of it, and it was freaking huge.
Yeah. Anything over 3 is going to be massive.
Anything over 150 is huge.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing that gets me the most. I've said it time and time again. Yeah. People bear shame themselves. It's easy to get, all ground shrinkage and 100 pounds, this and that. That's a human. That's 150 pounds. That's huge, and you still got to drag it out.
I'd pull the trigger. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
I get that a lot hunting in South Carolina because, luckily I have a really good friend of mine that invites me to hunt Illinois. So he'll pretty much call me and say, dude, they're rutting. You need to get here. And I'll drive, I think 15 hours to Illinois, and I'll hunt. And he's Steve Lovelace. He does Lovelace precision arrows and tuning and stuff. But he's I remember my first time in Illinois, a 10-point comes out and I shoot it. and I'm thrilled. It's like a 130-inch deer. I'm like, hell yeah, this is great. And he's like, oh man, like probably should have waited. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is a giant. He's like, no, not really. But then he looks at me and he's like, dude, you know what? As long as you're happy with it, that's all that matters.
Good. I'm glad he did that.
That's kind of how we are. I don't care about the score. I have shot some good deer. I've shot some not so good deer. But at the end of the day, I put in the work, and you shoot anything with archery equipment, you have to get so close. And, you know, even if you don't get that close, it's not easy. I mean, you can mess up so quick. So anything in my eyes, especially anything hunting, if it makes you happy, it's a trophy.
Thank you.
But especially archery, if you shoot it, I mean, I got friends that archery hunt here, and they haven't shot a buck in 3 years, but they shoot does and stuff, and they're happy with it. So you know what? If you're happy with it, you're happy with it. I don't care.
The doe that I shot last year in archery season, when Will came down and walked through the corn, I don't know what episode that was, but I had this overwhelming feeling that night of, like, it was a last minute hunt. It was a decision based upon some things I saw as a woodsman, and I knew, like, they're coming right here, set up here, blah, blah, blah. That doe was, it meant a lot. Like, it was, yeah, so I get that. Like, it was, people were like, oh yeah, you shot a doe. No, you don't get it. Like, the whole, that whole hunt was more than just, it might as well have been a big buck. So.
He shot it like Predator, though, Andrew. I mean, he literally was on the ground against a, camouflaged in, up close. I mean,
yeah, see, that's pretty,
he's underselling that. Yeah.
Covered in mud, like
like Arnold was.
Covered in mud.
Like Rambo.
Kill me now.
Stevie, jump in here anytime you'd like, man.
Do it.
What's your favorite archery stand?
Oh, I just like them all, but
that's it. I thought so.
What type of arrows you shooting this year, Stevie?
The long ones.
Bait caster.
Stevie's our pro staff fisherman, so he's sitting here kind of twiddling his thumbs.
I like it's fun hearing about different people's.
We just have to get you out there doing it.
I
honestly think if we sent our pro staffer Stevie down there that's never killed a deer in archery season with one of our could you hunt with a crossbow down there, Andrew?
Oh yeah. So if I say, you can hunt with anything.
If we sent him down there over one of the corn piles and let him get his first doe with a crossbow, is that something? I'm like, nothing's 100%, but is that something that would be slightly easier than sitting in a cold stand type of waiting for 4 days to see a deer? Like, because it's like anything else. If you take a kid fishing and he doesn't catch anything for 4 days, he's not want to go fishing. But if you take a kid fishing crappie fishing when it's hot,
right?
Like, you got an addicted fisherman forever.
Over an old Christmas
We
tree.
want to get Stevie addicted to archery hunting, but it's just too tough around here. So
I'm avoiding it. I don't want to get
I will say the easy thing, the cool thing about, like, I have some friends, from baseball and stuff that come in, and a lot of them haven't done a lot of hunting. But even if we don't shoot a lot of deer, we have a lot of fun because, like I said, I have land. So I travel like an hour to Bamberg, South Carolina, which is in the low country, and you're looking at sloughs and you're looking at huge open fields and like plantations, and then I have land that I lease that's close to the house, 15, 20 minutes, and it's like river bottoms. And then I go an hour to the upstate where I have other pieces of land in Edgefield County, and it's all like big rolling hills, and you're hunting a lot of creek bottom, and it's so a lot of people, like, they may not see the most deer depending on the weather. They might see a lot of deer, but they have fun because we're not sitting, like, if I take anybody hunting, we're not sitting in the same place. Like, if you sit that one stand, like, I don't sit one stand more than once in a week because the scent, all that. Like I said, I built a scent-free hunting room in my garage. Like, I'm weird about it, but like,
we all
are. I just carry a garbage bag in the truck and everything goes in the garbage bag.
Most of us are.
And then that one car comes by and like, look at that guy, he's naked. No, I'm just getting dressed for archery season.
Like,
mind your business, lady.
We'll hunt one stand, in the low country, and then the afternoon, we might be an hour in the opposite direction hunting in a totally different terrain, and it's just very unique, I would say.
Yeah,
it's a blast.
Well, I can tell just by talking to you that it's more than like it's a passion of yours. You can't live without it, and it's and we get that. We here at R2, we totally get it because we live for it. We wake up thinking about it. We skip out on weddings and funerals and anything else we can go.
I always say, if I don't have to go to your wedding, I'll get you a bigger present.
Yes, it's
right.
Oh,
I say the exact same thing.
There's not
one. If you're getting married during baseball season, I can't come.
Yes.
Like I can't get off work. It just doesn't work. And two, if you're getting married during hunting season, like send me an invitation. I promise. Like I'll get something from your wish list and send it to you.
Yeah.
And a signed ball.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Most of the weddings I go to are guys that I play with.
Oh,
they're like, how about, can I come hunting with you? Or yeah, dude.
My sister.
Come on.
My sister actually tested my father. My father is like a 40-year hunter education instructor. He's taught archery his whole life. Archery's been nothing. There's nothing been factory worker and archery hunting. That's all my dad ever knew. And my sister scheduled her wedding for the first day of archery season in the afternoon to see if dad would show up.
Why?
And he sure
That's
did.
just mean.
Straight up camo and face paint. He was there 15 minutes early because he went hunting in the morning. But it was a good test. Yeah, you don't do that in Pennsylvania. Like we get the first day off school, and you schedule your wedding around archery season.
It's a state holiday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Unofficial.
That's what I hear. I hear people are like intense there about. See, it's so strange for me, and I've never hunted public land. We're driving up and we're glassing, and we're like looking at people, and I'm like, what in the world are these people do? Oh, we're on public land. And then my friend from Arizona comes to hunt, and I don't even have to have no trespassing signs. Just people know, like, you don't go on somebody's private property.
There's a posted sign on every other tree in Pennsylvania that saying "Stay off my property,"
and it still doesn't stop people.
Yeah, but he's, we pull into a spot, and he's like, "Dude, you don't even have a gate here." I'm like, "No, trust me, nobody's coming in here." Yeah. He's like, "Dude, if we were back in Arizona, there would be 17 cars lined up."
Oh,
right
absolutely.
Here.
I got to redirect this because we've talked so much about archery season. I want to ask, what is your favorite way to eat venison? Like, do you have a favorite recipe?
I thought you were going away from deer.
I mean,
let's get off the deer and get on the venison.
This is my last deer question. But
my favorite way by far is I'll take the back straps, I'll soak them in vinaigrette for a couple days in the fridge.
Gazebo.
I'll pull them out, and I'll put peppers, cheese, wrap them in bacon, throw them on the grill, and just crush it from there. That's by far my favorite.
We're so good with South Carolina.
That and we make a lot of bacon burger.
Yes.
So we grill out bacon burgers and stuff all the time.
Lord.
Now I will redirect this 180 degrees.
You do that, Buck.
Andrew, do you do any fishing at all down there?
You know what? I actually, when I was in high school, now I obviously work during the summers, but when I was in high school, I used to fish local bass tournaments. We have two big lakes, Clark's Hill, it's South Carolina and Georgia, and then Lake Murray.
Yep.
Right up near Columbia. And I used to go up there and fish bass. I used to love to bass fish, during the summer and stuff when I was in high school and in middle school. And then now I get home and
it's all
deer
in the
season.
way,
And it's deer season.
Dude, there are mega bass in South Carolina.
Yeah.
There's mega bass. Big one.
We catch some very good fish. And then, every once in a while, we have the Savannah River's not far from me.
Yeah.
We'll go and we'll shoot. We'll bow fish and shoot gar, and we can striper fish, we can catfish. But I used to love to do it more. I wish I had time to do it more. But I know when I'm done playing baseball, for sure I'll bass fishing stuff a ton.
We will bring the boat down. We got to go catfishing on the Sandy Cooper. That's one of my favorite places on earth.
I've done that a couple times, and it's. I mean, there's nothing better.
No, there is nothing better. The Red River south, like up by Canada for channel cats, and Sandy Cooper for blue cats.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, Andrew, I know we're cutting it close on time, but we typically like to ask our guests, what would you say that a big bucket hunt for you would be? Like, what's your dream hunt? Where you want to go? What do you want to hunt?
Oof. I'm super lucky. Next year, November 19th, I'm going to Alaska. So
yeah,
that has been something I've been looking forward to for a couple of years now. But we're going for caribou and Sitka deer. So that is a big one.
Awesome.
I got super lucky. I drew, and it took me 7 years to draw an archery tag in Arizona last year. Unfortunately, it's a late season tag. I couldn't even apply for the early season one because it's September. But so that was a great experience. I did not shoot one. I had a couple opportunities. Really, it's one of those things where, like, if you shoot, would you shoot it on the last day? You shoot it on the first day. And I had, like a big spike and some other stuff come in on the very first day. And we're like, oh, it's the first day, let's hold off, blah, blah. Well, the next 6 days, it was awful hunting and we didn't see much from there. So, but then again, I hadn't done too much spot and stalk. So I still had an absolute blast doing it. But I would for sure want to go elk hunting again.
I've been caribou hunting, and you're going to have a blast. I don't find anything in life better. That's my bucket hunt, because I've been on a bunch of caribou hunts, but I was not the hunter. I worked for an outfitter.
He was a huntress.
Okay.
He was the caribou.
I was the guy that carried everything and smiled at the hunter when he got his caribou. But he
took some
when I was
pictures.
younger. But they're such an amazing, majestic animal, and the racks from a distance look similar. But up close, they're so unique, really so unique. Even the double shovels are different. And,
Yeah.
Like everybody, I want a double shovel. Listen, man, just whatever one talks to you, say whatever one looks at you right, just that's it. Take that one.
Andrew.
I'll definitely remember that. So I got a question for you guys. What are you guys' bows of choice?
That's odd, because there's 7 people here and there's like 14 different bows, maybe 17 different bows. But
Oh,
A Hoyt.
I've been a Hoyt fan my whole life, my whole
Okay.
life.
Well, geez, the first 3 people that chimed in are going to say Hoyt.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of them.
I shoot a Matthews.
I've had G5s, Matthews.
I'm a Bowtech fan currently.
Get out of this basement.
You
sorry.
shut your mouth.
Go ahead.
That's because they make a
I'm with you.
37
I'm
inch trolley.
actually shooting the Bowtech right now.
You know
There
what?
we go.
I take it
There
all
you
back
go.
then.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Shut
the
your mouth.
best bow that you can possibly buy is the one that works for you. And
Yep.
we have a local shop here that's well renowned. We're
couple
blessed to have Lancaster Archery close to us.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
You can go shoot all the newest bows, and they have like last year before, and on.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever one that you pick up that feels right is the right bow. Whatever brand it is, which one you can shoot correctly, the one that feels like an extension of you is the correct bow, no matter what brand it is.
Well said.
Yep, I'm with you on that. I've shot just about anything and everything. I used to go and work at the ATA show for Gravedigger Broadheads, and so when I was there every year, I would legitimately just go and shoot every single bow, and just go, wow, I like this one, or whichever one. So I've switched around. I'm not to one particular brand. That's kind of why I was wondering.
Yeah, no, we're all across the board.
If you end up being brand loyal, it's because you found,
Like me.
in my opinion, you found a grip that you like. Because that's one thing.
I agree with that.
Every brand has their own style of grip, and that's
Yep,
one
I
thing
will
that
definitely
stays
agree with that.
consistent. So if you found a brand that you're 100% loyal to, that means you have a certain grip style that you like, and that's the way you hold the bow, and that's the only one that'll work.
It's
Yeah,
weird because
I definitely believe that.
my old target bows from Martin had a giant grip on them, like a big wooden grip that like come out in your palm that I shoot low poundage, really long limbs, very small wheels. It just kind of floated arrows down to the 10 ring, for indoor, tournaments. But the little tiny small grip, super lightweight bow. And I'm not all into speed. It's how the bow, the back wall, and how smooth it comes out. Like I was a big fan of the G5 hammer for a long time. Like it's a cheaper bow. It's a lower. Dude, the thing shoots and it shoots and it shoots and it's very smooth.
Right.
Actually, we got to get that to Pellet. I'm sorry.
Pellet's
got to get that bow. Yeah. It's all ready to go.
But no, you're right. And I shoot every time I buy a new bow. I shoot every bow I can, cheap or not, whatever they. I just shoot them. And I just start that process and narrowing them down.
Yeah.
I'm
Andrew,
sure the
I
Bowtech loves waiting on you, but
yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Andrew, I love it when Will buys a new bow because I get his old one.
That's never bad. I actually started using baseball grips. They're called lizard skins, and it's like a soft baseball grip. And that's what I put on every single bow that I get to make them feel the exact same. Because I like kind of a thick, fatter grip.
Gotcha.
For some reason, I don't torque as bad when that's what I shoot. So that's what I've been doing for a few years now.
Same stuff you put on a bat or like a tennis racket or.
Yeah, it's very similar to a tennis grip. Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha. Wow. Never thought of that.
Very cool. Andrew, I'm sorry, but we're out of time. You were an amazing guest.
You are.
I'm just going to cut it off. I hate to do it. I'd love to talk
cold
for another
turkey.
hour.
We can keep going, but yeah.
Yeah.
But if people wanted to come find out more about you, where could they find you at social media wise?
Instagram. I'm on Instagram. A little bit on Facebook. I stay off of Twitter, but just mainly Instagram, I would say, because I'm dyslexic, so pictures work the best for me.
Sure. And what's your Instagram handle?
And you happen to be a pitcher.
Yes. It is. It's Faulkner Andrew. I think that's it. But yeah, that's Faulkner it. Faulkner Andrew. Basic.
Who do I hear in the background?
Oh, I walked inside. I've been outside. I'm trying to turn the volume off on the TV. I can't figure it out.
Tell her I want to talk to her. Who is she?
That was a TV, he said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was her.
Oh, he's going to tell her about all the corn you're buying. Don't put her on.
Don't get her on.
It's a trap.
Bud. It's a trap.
Oh, yeah. Luckily, if I let her ride around on the four-wheeler while I'm putting the corn out, she likes to drive the four-wheeler, so she doesn't. Then
it's all right.
That, and I'll give her a lot of credit. She's very good in the deer stand, and she'll film for me. And she doesn't complain about me hunting all the time because that means she'll wake up to breakfast.
Where do you find one of those?
Put her in a cage, bud. That's like a unicorn.
Maybe not a cage, maybe like a penthouse.
Well, you know what I mean. Don't lose her.
Chain her to the door.
Yeah, do what you need to do.
Put her in the basement.
As minimally invasive as possible.
Make her put lotion on.
Tie her to the pole in the basement.
You guys kill me.
You've been a great guest, Andrew. We appreciate you coming on, boss.
You guys are.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. I had a blast talking to everybody.
Awesome.
Hey, thanks, Andrew, for putting up with us, bud.
Yeah, thank you.
And get ready. You got a bunkhouse down there?
No, I don't have a bunkhouse.
You're gonna need one.
Work on it. Extra bedrooms and a couple blow-up mattresses. We'll be good.
Very cool. Stevie's got a camper.
We'll pull the camper down.
I'll sleep in the yard. I don't care.
I was going to say, Kyle and I will share the four-wheeler.
Yeah.
You get the front rack, I get the back. That way he can just take us to the stand.
That works.
Awesome.
Let the water moccasins jump out of you guys.
Wow. Right. When we're not running from water moccasins and hiding our corn receipts from our girlfriend.
Sitting 25 feet up a tree.
Right. Where can they find us?
Yeah, where can they find us, bud?
They can find us at rutandriverpursuits.com. The podcast itself always available on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Castbox. Jesus. And don't make sure you look for us on all the social media platforms. Just search for
which ones?
Rutten River Pursuits. You guys are killing me tonight.
Twitter.
You're going to look for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Check out our YouTube.
And don't forget the YouTube channel, Rutten River Pursuit Podcast.
Nice.
And if you get hungry, why don't you jump on over to Moses Family Jerky?
MFjerky.com.
Jerky Pursuits
That's
15
stuff right there.
Yeah, you can get 15% off the entire website. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Sorry about the echo tonight. I don't know what's going on here at the end.
It's a bad splitter.
Andrew, thanks.
Yes, thank you, Andrew.
You got it. You guys have a good night.
You too. See you, brother.
Thanks, bud. That's as much politics as we get into. These bumper stickers.
I mean, when we have a bunch of ticks on us, that's different. Polyticks.
That's
That's
totally
many
different.
ticks.
Many ticks.
I remember that from geometry.
Compared to the ones from the moon.
Lunar tick.
Wash
The
dish.
lunatics.
Are you washing your Lamborghini?
I am actually washing off my four-wheeler real quick.
Yeah.
I just got done planting food plots, so my
Oh, did you?
like if you go to Alabama, their rut is in like January.
Yeah.
That's stupid crazy.
Yeah.
I'm
Here,
I'm shopping for Christmas presents in January
yeah, that's
because I'm late.
oh gosh.